Bhutan always had a sacred relation with India. However, under the present context, it needs to be underlined that over the years, India's traditional sacred bond with the countries like Bhutan has been disastrously allowed to erode, and the Himalayan state merely remained as an object of strategic play against China, where cutting deals by using the carrot and stick approach has become the rule of the business. Bhutan, in their traditional literature, they call themselves as Druk or the slave, D-R-U-K, Druk or the slave, who has a complete allegiance to the Gyagar or the master that is India. The first treaty that we signed with Bhutan was in 1949. This treaty was called as the 1949 Friendship Treaty, signed between Jawaharlal Nehru and the King Jigme Dorji Wangchuk. This King Jigme Dorji Wangchuk and Jawaharlal Nehru Treaty of Friendship 1949 has guided the contemporary Indo-Bhutan relationship. In that particular treaty, the main theme was non-interference by India in Bhutan's internal affairs. And inter alia, there was an Article 2 of the treaty that entrusted that India will guide Bhutan's foreign policy. So this clause, Article 2, where India was to guide Bhutan's foreign policy, was the most significant clause of the 1949 Friendship Treaty. It did embed values of the trust and equality. Apart from the geopolitical exigencies, the ideals of the Indian leaders always inspired the Bhutanese rulers and the people. However, the keystone that drove the main engine of this relationship was the Druk slave. In the literature of Bhutan, it is written Druk Bhutan, having a deep devotion to the Gyagar, the holy master, the holy land, India. Why such a sacred relationship is there? If you want to understand, then you have to read the literature of 8th century AD Vajrayan tradition. In accordance with this Vajrayan tradition, in 8th century, there was an Indian leader and a philosopher. This Indian leader and philosopher, his name was Padmasambhav. You might have studied him in Nalanda University's context in your ancient Indian lectures. So in 8th century, the Indian leader and philosopher Padmasambhav, also known as Guru, who belonged to the modern Swat Valley, which is now located in Pakistan, of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, he migrated from Nalanda and established a kingdom in Bhutan. But later on, the sannyasi of Buddhism, he completely handed over this entire kingdom to the families of the Wangchuks, and with a promise that you will always look for the guidance towards the Holy Land. And that pious aspirations, that pious sacred teaching of Padmasambhav was reflected in this Article 2. Padmasambhav is regarded as the third Buddha in the Vajrayan tradition. And irrespective of the contemporary geopolitical pulls and pressures, the kingdom of Bhutan remains steadfastly and unshakably the most reliable ally of India. There is an explicit display of this loyalty. Despite huge pressures from China, Bhutan is not ready to give Dokala Plateau. This Doklam Plateau or the Dokala Plateau is located absolutely near the Siliguri corridor, where a very narrow corridor which connects the mainland India with the northeast. And if Chinese they get an access to this particular Chumbi Valley's last point, Doklam Plateau, then they can use it as a dagger to cut the chicken's neck. In return, the Chinese are offering whatever they can. They are offering more land to Bhutan, they are offering firm bilateral relations, they are offering heavy investment, they are offering tourism, they are offering taking the relations to the next level. However, Bhutan is not budging because of India's security concern. So, irrespective of the contemporary geopolitical pulls and pressures, the kingdom remains steadfastly and unshakably the most reliable ally of India. And there is an explicit display of this loyalty. Even in the past, the Bhutanese prince, he has quoted the Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi to the dais and waited at the footsteps to walk her back to the seat during the multilateral summits of United Nations or Commonwealth or any other place where Indira Gandhi was going to give a speech. Whenever she used to get up to deliver the speech, the Bhutanese prince escorted the Indian Prime Minister to the dais and waited at the footsteps to walk her back to the seat during the multilateral summits. And he knew what he was doing. When the Druk king, even they used to call themselves not the king but the Druk king, the follower, the apostle, the Druk king, Jigme Singye Wangchok, he heard that Ulfa Bodo and Kamtapur militants, they have occupied a territory in southern Bhutan's very dense forested areas and are going to use it as a launch pad for some attacks on India.